I took a DNA test for fun and exposed a lie my father had kept for 32 years. It wasn't supposed to matter. Just one of those kits people try out of curiosity. Something small, something harmless. My husband even joked about it. Let's see if you're secretly from somewhere unexpected. I laughed, because there was nothing complicated about my family. At least, that's what I thought. I took a DNA test for fun and exposed a lie my father had kept for 32 years. It wasn't serious, just one of those kits people try out of curiosity. Something to talk about over dinner. Something completely harmless. My husband joked about it. I laughed, because there was nothing complicated about my family. Nothing hidden. Nothing I didn't already know. I wasn't looking for anything. I wasn't suspicious of anyone. Which is why what happened next broke something open in me that I didn't know how to close. A few weeks later, I got the email. Your results are ready. I opened it without thinking, not even sitting down, just standing in the kitchen, scrolling. Percentages. Regions. Everything looked normal at first. Exactly what I expected. Until I saw a section I didn't recognize. Close family matches. I tapped it, and everything slowed down, because the first name on the list wasn't my father. When the results came in, I was standing in the kitchen, scrolling through casually. Percentages. Regions. Everything looked normal. Until I saw something I hadn't noticed before. Close family matches. I clicked it, and the first name wasn't my father. It was someone I had never seen before. But the match percentage next to their name was too high to ignore. Too high to be anything other than immediate family. At first, I thought it had to be a mistake, like something was wrong with the system, because the number didn't make sense. It wasn't distant. It wasn't vague. It was exact. Close. The kind of number that only means one thing. And then a thought hit me. One I didn't want to finish. Because if this person was exactly who the test suggested, then someone I had trusted my entire life had kept something from me. Something that couldn't be explained away. I went back to the app, opened the match again, read every detail carefully. The name, the age range, the percentage. It hadn't changed. Still just as high. Still impossible to ignore. And then I saw something I had missed. A small label under the name. Parent/child match. My stomach dropped. Because there are only two ways that make sense. Either I have a child I don't know about, or that person is my parent. And I already knew which one it was. I went back and checked it again. Slower this time. Name, age range, percentage, everything the same. And then I saw it. A label I hadn't noticed before. Parent/child. My stomach dropped. Because there are only two ways that make sense. Either I have a child somewhere I don't know about, or that person is my parent. And deep down, before I even finished reading, I already knew which one it was. I closed the app, put my phone face down. I walked into the living room like nothing had happened. My husband was watching TV. He looked up. Everything okay? I nodded. Yeah, the results came in. He smiled. Anything interesting? I hesitated. Just for a second. Then I said the easiest thing I could. Not really. Not really. The first lie in a situation I didn't even understand yet. That night, I couldn't sleep at all. My mind kept repeating the same question. If that person was my biological parent, then who had I been calling my father? My entire life? That night, I didn't tell anyone. Not my husband, not my parents. I just sat with it, because saying it out loud would make it real, and I wasn't ready for that. But one question wouldn't leave me alone, no matter how hard I tried to ignore it. If that match was my biological parent, then who had I been calling my father? My entire life? And why? For 32 years, had no one told me? By the next afternoon, I made a decision. I wasn't going to confront anyone yet. Not until I understood more. So I went back to the app, opened the match again, and this time, I clicked the profile. There wasn't much. No long bio. No explanation. Just a name, a location, and one photo. I stared at the photo longer than I should have, because something about it felt familiar. Not obvious. Not enough to recognize, but enough to stop me. The shape of the eyes, the way they smiled. Small things, subtle things, the kind you don't notice, unless you're looking for them. And suddenly, I realized I was. I opened their profile. There wasn't much there, just a name, a location, and one photo. I told myself I'd just look for a second, but I didn't stop. I kept staring, because something about the photo felt familiar, not obvious, not clear enough to explain, just enough to make me pause. The eyes, the smile, small details. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't looking at a stranger anymore. I was looking for myself in them, searching for proof that I was real, in a way I suddenly wasn't sure of anymore. The location on the profile wasn't far. Same state. Same general area I grew up in, which meant this wasn't some distant connection. This was close. Too close to ignore. And that's when the timeline started forming in my head. If this person was my biological parent, then at some point, someone made a decision not to tell me. And the person who lived in that silence with me was my father, or at least the man I had always believed was. That evening, I sat across from him at the dinner table. Same routine, same familiar space, but everything felt different. I wasn't just looking at him anymore. I was looking at him with a question behind it. How much of this was real? He asked about my day. I answered. We talked about small things, normal things, but underneath it, something had changed. Every memory I had suddenly felt incomplete. 3 days later, I couldn't carry it anymore. I drove to his house. No call, no plan, just went. Because some conversations don't wait. When I arrived, he was in the garage, working on something, like he always did. He looked up and smiled. Hey, sweetheart, didn't know you were coming by. I didn't smile back. We need to talk. His expression shifted. Not panic, just recognition, like he already knew. We sat on the old workbench, the same one I used to sit on as a kid. I took a DNA test, I said. He nodded slowly. I know. I froze. What? Your husband mentioned it weeks ago. Said you were waiting for the results. My chest tightened. Then you know what I found. He looked down at his hands. Quiet. Still. Yeah, he said. I figured you would. The air felt heavier. How long have you known? I asked. He exhaled slowly. Since you were 6 months old. 6 months. My entire life. Your mom had an affair, he said. She told me when she found out she was pregnant. Said she wasn't sure. But there was a chance. We did a test after you were born. Confirmed it. You weren't mine. And you stayed. He looked at me immediately. Of course I stayed. No hesitation. No doubt. Like there had never been another option. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. He looked at me. Really looked. Because you were mine. Not because of DNA. Because I chose you. Every single day. My throat tightened. Your mom wanted to tell you when you were older, he continued. But she got sick. And we ran out of time. And after she passed, I didn't know how to say it without hurting you. But you still lied to me, I said. He shook his head. No. I raised you. I was there. That was never a lie. The words stayed there between us. Heavy. But true. Does he know about me? I asked quietly. He knew your mom was pregnant, he said. But she never confirmed anything. And he never came looking. So I assumed he didn't want to be part of it. I thought about the profile. The stranger. The familiar face. Living close enough that we could have crossed paths. And never known. I don't know if I want to meet him, I said. He nodded. That's your choice. And whatever you decide, I'm still here. And in that moment, something became clear. Family isn't DNA. It's who stays. Who shows up. Who chooses you. Again and again. We sat there for a while. Not talking. Just sitting. The way we always had. And when I left, something felt different. Not broken. Not fixed. Just clear. I haven't contacted the match. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I won't. But I know this. The man who raised me never needed a test to be my father. He just showed up every day for 32 years without hesitation, without conditions. And maybe that matters more than anything a test could ever prove.